I can go through a database and tell you what's wrong with it, but I could not tell you anything about science. The jury's still out on that one for me. It's never, never really clicked in between these two ears.
Yeah, I like we get lake effect, and it's supposed to be the humidity off the lakes that form into these clouds that basically just dump on the coast of western Michigan. And I don't get it. I don't the lake effect thing. I don't get. If you look up the rain map, like which areas get the most rain in the United States, there's Seattle, parts of Florida, and they're like very small. It would be like a county that gets all that rain, and then there will be counties near them that get like not nearly as much rain. So it's one of those things like traffic. I still don't understand how CDs get sound or CDs work in general, or like tapes or vinyls for that matter. But yeah, weather is just a whole other black box that I haven't really dug into, and I don't feel like I would believe anything that they're saying anyways. I think it's just witchcraft.
What you just said was witchcraft. I'm going to burn you next time I see you.
Yeah. Uh, yeah, tie me in a bag, and if I escape, then I'm a witch. If I drown, then I wasn't.
Okay. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's what we do. We invent a time machine and we send a meteorologist back to Salem.
Yeah. It's like Terminator. The future can't exist without the past, and or the past can't exist without the future.
Yeah, so like, who were they? Was it just meteorologists that they sent back to Salem, and that's what started the whole thing?
Yeah, I guess some broad who could tell you when it was going to snow, and then they burned her.
Yeah, um, yeah, send back with like a barometer or something. They're talking about air pressure. Like, what do you fucking mean air pressure? It's just air. Like, how is it? And people get like they'll have a broken ankle or they'll have a hip replacement or something. Like they knew it was going to rain because their hip or their ankle started hurting. Like, what is that?
Again, the jury's still out on that whole science thing. I don't get it. I mean, you can use your big fancy words to try and confuse me, but I still don't believe you.
Even still, like, I went down the rabbit hole the other day with CDs and videotapes because if you're old enough, you remember VHS tapes and maybe the iterations of videotapes before that. But I guess because I seen a news report that VHS tapes are starting to lose their quality. Like eventually, they're just going to wear down to the point where you can't really watch them anymore. Um,
Oh.
but with VHS, it had something to do with magnets. So it was all negative film, and then
Right.
there was like magnets or something, so they could get the sound. There were magnets in the VHS so that they could get the sound out of the tape because it was just film. But there was something with magnets, I think, that had something to do with the sound. Whereas CDs, I think, is just simply them looking at the still images that are burned in a circle on the CD. And they were explaining the sound too, but I have to go back and actually look to see what they were saying. I know the VHS has something to do with magnets. That's as far as I understood about it.
I completely zoned out because you were talking witchcraft. We might just want to stop this recording right now. This is getting too real right now.
Yeah, I don't know. There's like what else about the world that you're just never going to be able to explain it to me for me to be able to understand. Like there's a whole science in figuring out how many calories something is. I think like how do you do that?
Yeah, yeah. I don't,
No, you tell me right now.
if I were doing it, I would just count with a pencil tip how many pencil pokes it takes to poke that out on a piece of paper, like if I were tracing it, and that's how you get your calories.
All right, that could be how they do it. I don't know.
I that makes perfect sense to me. I mean, that's pretty fancy. It's pretty smart.
Yeah,
If I don't say so myself, you know, I
yeah. I
don't
mean,
want. I'm not calling myself Einstein, but you know,
well, who knows how they're actually figuring it out? You had people that were looking
right?
up, what was it, goat? They would like gut a goat, and it would be like reading it to see, like, and that would be how they were fortune telling, or reading people's palms.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
If
I
you
just
get
walk in there with a birthmark or something, and they think I'm like the Antichrist.
yeah, or maybe Christ himself. Who knows? You don't know. The palms know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, you know, it's not science. Inflation. Maybe it is actually science.